You're driving, everything is normal. Then you see flashing lights behind you. A traffic stop? Routine, right? But what if that stop never was about the law? And everything about setting you up? Let's get into it. But before we do, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for upcoming videos for STJ Archives. This content is for awareness and educational purposes only. Viewer discretion is advised. This is the story of a former Florida deputy, Zachary Wester, a man who was supposed to protect the public, but instead became the threat. Stationed in the Florida Panhandle, Wester conducted traffic stops like any other officer, but behind those stops was something far more dangerous. Wester wasn't just making arrests. He was creating crimes, planting drugs on innocent motorists, people who had no idea their lives were about to change forever. Imagine being pulled over and then suddenly being told drugs were found in your vehicle. And you know all of that sort of thing is surprising when you know it's not yours. But now it's your word against a deputy. And let's be clear, he is not the only officer or deputy or lieutenant out here doing such things like this. We see this all the time, where someone who is innocent is being accused of something they really did not do. We're just focusing on Wester at the current moment. A deputy. Now, this is where the real damage begins, because once you are arrested, everything shifts. Your name, your record, your reputation, all at risk. Some of these people face serious charges, time in jail, legal battles, and all because of something that was never theirs to begin with. This wasn't just misconduct. This was a system being abused. But eventually, STJ Squad, we know everything that's done in the dark eventually come to the light. Patterns started to show. Questions were raised and an investigation began. What they uncovered was bigger than anyone expected. Wester was charged with multiple crimes. Racketeering was one of them. Fabricating evidence, another one. And guess what else? False imprisonment. This wasn't one mistake. This was a pattern of corruption. Back in July 2021, he was sentenced to over 12 years in prison. 12 years for abusing power and destroying lives, and because of his actions, over 100 cases had to be dismissed. Think about that for a moment. Over 100 cases built on lies? Yeah, the cases were dismissed. Yes, the truth came out. Yes, those lies were exposed. But for many families, that was only the beginning. Dozens of people were accused. Dozens of people were accused, charged, and labeled as criminals. Not because they were guilty, but because the evidence was planted. Stories were fabricated, trust was abused, and when it all unraveled, over 100 cases were thrown out. On paper, that actually sounds like justice. But in real life, this kind of thing does not reset easily, because behind every dismissed case was a person who lived through it. People who are pulled over, handcuffed, humiliated on the side of the road. People who sat in jail, lost jobs, lost time, lost pieces of their lives they could never get back. Families just had to watch this kind of stuff happen. They was helpless, confused, probably questioning everything. Think about their children who saw their parents treated like criminals. Communities started losing trust in the very system that was supposed to protect them. Even then, the damage didn't disappear. Because how do you restore time? How do you erase that fear, that anger, that trauma? You can clear a record, but you can't always clear that memory. This case forces a difficult question. What happens when the person enforcing the law breaks it? Because situations like this don't just hurt individuals. They break trust. Trust in the system. Trust in authority. The trust that when you're pulled over, you'll be treated fairly is broken. This is why I always say awareness matters. Because not every situation is what it seems. And not every person in power use it the right way. This isn't about fear. It's about being aware. Because one moment, one stop can actually turn into something you never ever expected. Zachary Wester was supposed to serve and protect. Instead, he framed the very people he was sworn to protect. And now he's serving time. But for the people affected, the damage, they may never fully recover, or it may not ever fully go away. At least the memory of it. Rebuilding this kind of trust once it's been broken is a tough pill to swallow. If you like deep conversations like this, grab your STJ merch and a copy of the Spilling the Juice book series at spillingthejuice.com. Also available on Amazon and all major book platforms. STJ Archives, signing off.